And welcome back. A recent study shows continuous positive airway pressure, or CPAP, is the most effective form of treatment for sleep apnea.
And the best way to get this pressure is through a machine. And one of the most convenient ways to get the machine is at the CPAP to go stores. So with us now is Cody Glorioso from the Sleep Wellness Institute and CPAP to go stores. And he's joined by Dr. Michael Plotkin, a family practitioner at the Glendale Clinic, where they just put a new CPAP to go store. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
welcome,
correct.
Gentlemen. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so they're putting in a new CPAP to go store here in the Glendale office where you're a current practicing doctor.
Right.
And what is the reason for it? Is there a new study out that's kind of giving more information on CPAP to people who have sleep apnea?
Well, the U.S. Agency for Healthcare and Research just did a recent study, and they found out that the most common treatment for sleep apnea is CPAP. Mm-hmm. It's the best gold standard out there. We partnered up with Columbia St. Mary's to bring sleep studies, and now we just opened up a store inside their Glendale clinic.
That's wonderful. And how does a CPAP work? For people who aren't familiar with how it actually works, how would you explain it to them?
CPAP basically is a device that takes room air and it forces air into your airway, opening up the airway, causing positive pressure and allowing you to breathe at night.
Mm-hmm. And this is important that people who have sleep apnea and start to get this treatment continue it, because the sleep apnea will come back without it, correct?
Correct. There are some cases where people lose weight. They have surgical operations that do eliminate the airway obstructions, but the CPAP generally is every night. It doesn't cure itself.
Okay. So what are the stores all about? You know, if somebody sees, we kind of saw a picture of the CPAP to go store, what it looked like, what would you find inside that store if we walked in?
Typically, when you walk into one of our stores, we have all the different options you can choose from. We have 30 masks you can choose from, different machines, every CPAP accessory that you can possibly think of in a retail setting, so patients can touch it, they can look at it, they can physically know what they're getting into before they take it home.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that there's still, I mean, is there a reason why people would hesitate, you know, to use a CPAP? We've talked about it on the show that there kind of was a stigma a little bit for a little while,
right.
But I feel like people are more comfortable with it now.
Yeah, the more it's in the media, the more people talk about it, the more they talk to their friends about it, their doctors talk about it, the more comfortable they are with it. They're not embarrassed to be wearing this. They know it's a condition that they can't help, so it's definitely becoming more in the open.
Sure. Well, if you can't sleep and you can't breathe and you're snoring, there's nothing to be ashamed about. So it's good to have these clinics out. And how convenient now that they're located right at this center, this clinic.
Yes, that really makes it easy for patients to come in, get diagnosed, get a prescription. They can head right out the door into the lobby and go right to the store in the clinic and get their equipment and start on the machine that night, so it's really helpful for them. Well,
I can imagine as a doctor too, it's easy to have it right in the Glendale location, so you can refer people over, you know, so that they can actually go over there.
Right.
And when you were choosing a new location, what made you decide that the Glendale clinic was the right spot for it?
Well, after we partnered up with Columbia, we looked at a lot of their clinics, and that is one of the busiest clinics. I believe they see 19,000 patients a year.
Oh, wow.
We thought if we had something out front where the physicians could just refer someone out. If they had questions about CPAP, they can just walk in there, and we have employees in there for them to answer.
I think that's great. How do you think it benefits your patients too? I'm sure you have a lot of patients that come to you with sleep issues, or maybe they don't realize it's a sleep issue, but they're just really tired or having other problems. I can imagine that it would be really convenient and nice for your patients.
It is. The more convenient you can make things for patients' treatments, availability, the more likely they are to follow through and be compliant and use the equipment and get treated. So it is very nice to have that.
What kind of symptoms would someone have to have that might perhaps suggest to you that you should recommend them for CPAP?
If patients come in and either their spouse or a bed partner states that they have been snoring heavily or stopping breathing while they're sleeping, a typical symptom is daytime tiredness. Just, you know, sitting at a stoplight and you just kind of doze off, or you sit down to watch TV or read the paper and you just can't keep your eyes open. So a lot of daytime tiredness.
And we've had a lot of couples on, you know, where oftentimes it's the partner that notices, you know, that they're not sleeping well, or they're waking up, or they're gasping for air. So I think if you're somebody who's alone and you have those symptoms, it's important to pay attention to them, wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and bring that up to your doctor if you're having those symptoms.
Absolutely. And
I would imagine that the spouse actually forces the other spouse, because it's probably very terrifying for them to realize that the person sleeping next to them is not breathing. They wait a moment and they hear a gasp. That is a serious issue.
Right, absolutely. It is scary.
Yeah. Well, I know now that you've added kind of the Mequon Sleep Disorder Center. Do you think it's likely that you'll get a CPAP to go store there in Mequon anytime soon too?
We're definitely looking at the area. We're hoping by the end of the year we'll have a new location open up in Mequon.
That's great. I think it's an important thing that people can have some place convenient to go to help themselves, because as we kind of talk about it, it is a very serious condition and one that can be life-threatening. So it's important that these opportunities are easy for people and patients to be able to go to. So we want to make sure that you have the information for a CPAP to go store. Again, they're located in Franklin, Waukesha, and now in the Glendale Clinic. Hopefully soon by the end of the year in Mequon as well. We'll tell you more about that as it comes. The phone number if you have questions is 414-761-2727, or you can visit the website cpaptogo.net. Thanks so much for being here, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And after the break, you'll get to see our picture of the day.
And we'll share your responses to our sound off question.
Pantyhose or not? We'll tell you when we come back.